A uno desde pequeñito lo enseñaron, vea, que esa culebra es dañina, es mala. Primero. Lo segundo, he visto muchos mordidos de culebra. Fatal, viéndola fatal.
Jeremías fue una de las primeras personas en llegar a este lugar recóndito, situado en el corazón de la península de Osa. Entonces el territorio permanecía inexplorado y salvaje, sin huellas de presencia humana. Los bosques estaban llenos de vida. Y con las montañas que rodean este valle, constituían un ecosistema tropical lleno de belleza y misterio. Con el paso del tiempo se convertiría en un lugar conocido como Rancho Quemado, pero en aquel entonces solo era un valle lleno de incógnitas. El camino que abrió Jeremías lo siguieron numerosas personas a lo largo de las décadas siguientes. El lugar los atraía por su encanto salvaje y sus posibilidades, pero ignoraban que entre la maleza del lugar acechaba un peligro: la víbora terciopelo, la serpiente venenosa más peligrosa de Costa Rica. Su veneno es capaz de destruir las células de la piel, los vasos sanguíneos, el tejido muscular. Y si avanza lo suficiente, puede ser letal. Sharon tenía apenas 4 años cuando una víbora terciopelo la mordió mientras dormía en el sofá de su casa. Aunque logró sobrevivir al accidente, su madre recuerda cada minuto de aquel día como si fuera ayer.
Yo quedé como en un estado de shock, que yo no comía, yo no dormía, yo no me venía del hospital. Pasé como 3 días sin tan siquiera ir a bañarme ni pensar. Yo estaba como en shock, solo esperando a que a la chiquita se le quitara el dolor. Esa angustia, yo me iba a volver loca, de verdad que no hay palabras. Me enojé tanto porque yo decía, ¿por qué a mi hija, no a mí? O sea, ¿por qué a mi bebé?
La cicatriz se ha extendido más allá de la memoria de ambas.
Uno sabe que una serpiente, si te muerde, pues es consecuencias, pero jamás imaginé que una consecuencia tan grave.
La víbora terciopelo es uno de los habitantes más antiguos de estas montañas. Ha formado parte de los ecosistemas de la región durante siglos. Y es que esta pequeña comunidad tiene una historia que se remonta a mucho antes de la llegada de Jeremías y su familia.
La palabra Rancho Quemado proviene de 2 oreros ambulantes que descubrieron la mina y mataron unos chanchos, se pusieron a asarlos y a tomar alcohol y se fueron para el cauce y la carne tomó fuego, prendió el rancho y se quemó el rancho. Ese es el título de Rancho Quemado.
Lugar de paso de buscadores de oro y de cazadores. Este territorio no empezó a crecer hasta la llegada de los primeros pobladores.
Hace 58 años. Me traje a mi tata y me traje a Mancio, mi hermano, que es el mayor. Los vinimos 3 días aquí, anduvimos todo esto. Entonces, mi papá probaba la tierra, probaba el agua y me decía, qué bueno todo esto. Pero la soledad es inmensa y la incomodidad mucho más. Aquí hay muertes. Aquí el que se meta hay muertes.
Jeremías aún recuerda los tiempos en los que la selva era verdadera selva.
Aquí no escampaba nunca. Aquí llovía noche y día. Usted venía ahí por la montaña y oía choplum, choplum, las dantas, caminando, casi nadando. Las saineras, nadando, buscando sitios secos. Aquello. Y de ahí los metimos. Y esto fue duro.
La perseverancia marcó los inicios de Rancho Quemado. La falta de recursos, el aislamiento, una movilidad limitada. Pero la comunidad crecía y el contacto constante con el entorno supuso el principio de un conflicto. La terciopelo se convirtió en una amenaza. Un peligro que el propio Jeremías sintió en su carne.
Yo no iba pensando en culebras, yo iba pensando en cortar hoja para alistar para ese otro día comenzar a empajar la chiquereta. Pero donde yo metí la mano y le hice así con el machete, sentí el chuzazo.
Cualquier campesino en Rancho Quemado estaba expuesto a una situación semejante.
El 95% de la gente se moría. Mientras llegaban a los primeros auxilios, a un hospital, y esa persona ya estaba pasada, si ya el veneno había corrido todo el cuerpo. Uno en el campo está con la muerte todos los días y cada momento. En el momento que usted esté en el campo trabajando, usted está corriendo el riesgo. Y yo digo ver la muerte porque si te picó una culebra, según donde te pica, ahí te quedaste.
En las sombras de la bulliciosa capital de Costa Rica, San José, se encuentra una entidad que nació con el objetivo de reducir las muertes por envenenamiento. El Instituto Clodomiro Picado. Se ha convertido en la primera institución en todo el país en desarrollar un antídoto eficaz contra la mordedura de la terciopelo.
El suero antiofídico, por mucho, es la única y la mejor solución para poder tratar la mordedura de serpiente. Lo único que se ha logrado demostrar en ser eficiente en poder tratar el accidente ofídico es el suero que producimos nosotros en nuestro instituto, que es específico con el veneno de las serpientes que tenemos acá en nuestro país.
Gravin es uno de los técnicos del instituto. Ha dedicado su vida a estudiar el comportamiento de las serpientes en cautividad. Para él, su trabajo puede ayudar a solucionar el conflicto.
Aunque me exponga día a día, aunque exponga mi vida todos los días, al manejar estas serpientes tan peligrosas, pues puedo ayudar a otras personas a que no mueran, no puedan tener amputaciones de sus extremidades.
Venga para que vea lo que quiero enseñarle, venga. Ahí, mira, ahí. Hay una serpiente, una terciopelo, casi le pongo la mano.
Esa culebra ya le picaba a Rosa y yo le tenía que dejar botado a usted inmediatamente y irme con ella corriendo para que el veneno no la friegue mucho, pero ella, imagínense que ella es diabética, la pica un bicho eso y se pone en problemas.
Yo solamente estaba recogiendo unas cosas y cuando le puse la mano cerca ahí, fue cuando ella quiso moverse, fue por eso que la pude ver.
Si yo la miro, la mato. Me pica a mi hija, hice una odisea para mí y si no tengo plata, tengo que buscar en carrera o sacarla en carrera porque el veneno corre y mi hija se muere.
Cientos de personas sufren mordeduras de serpientes cada año en Costa Rica. La mayoría, y las más graves, son de terciopelo. La adaptación de la víbora a entornos rurales hace que las comunidades agrícolas y ganaderas sean las más afectadas. Y la escasez de recursos hace el drama aún mayor.
La vida del campesino es difícil y hay que trabajar todos los días para subsistir. Porque al campesino nadie le regala nada ni le ayuda con nada. Hay que hacer el esfuerzo, se muera o no se muera, de trabajar para traer el sustento a la casa.
Es un riesgo. En el campo es un riesgo, la verdad es eso. Pero hay que convivir con el campo.
Eso, así sí, qué guapo.
Si usted no sale de la casa, ¿cómo hace para traer el sustento a la casa? Si tenemos que ir a fornalear, tenemos que ir a volar machete o hacer cercas. Tantas cosas que se aplican en el campo que usted tiene que salir de la casa a ganarse el sustento de su familia. Y ya usted está entrando en un riesgo de la vida de uno también. ¿Por qué? Porque ahí puede aparecer una culebra.
Víctor era cazador. Perseguía a sus presas sin compasión. Todo cambió cuando conoció a Jessica, hoy su esposa.
Ella llegó y empezó a decirme que no, que eso ya tenía que dejarlo porque era algo que no iba con ella.
Era parte de su cultura, de su familia, de sus raíces, de todo el entorno, ¿verdad? La cacería, el tener la afición, ¿verdad? Por ir a la montaña, pues era algo que le gustaba.
Para mí era algo muy, ¿cómo le explico? Algo muy que uno hace que es un hábito, ya, ir a matar un animal o algo así, es un hábito, ir a cazar, pero para ella como conservacionista no. Entonces por ahí empezaban problemas y yo decía, no, ya hay que cambiar. Y cuando un cazador llega a cambiar, se convierte en un guardián.
Voces como las de Víctor y Jessica se están abriendo camino entre la comunidad. El peligro persiste, pero cada vez son más los que apuestan por una solución que permita una convivencia con la terciopelo.
No hay necesidad de matarla, sino tener mucho cuidado. Desde que usted no las toque, ellas no pican, no hacen nada de daño. Pero no las toque, déjelas que se vayan. Ellas lo que hacen es buscar las ranas y los bichitos para ellos vivir de eso.
Que la culebra es mejor viva que muerta. Si uno la ve, si ellos la ven, no acercársele para que no los vaya a morder, y si están cerca de la casa, reubicarlas, llevarlas a otro lado donde para que ellos vayan criándose con esa mentalidad que el día de mañana tal vez mis hijos hagan un poquito la experiencia y vienen mis nietos o la otra generación y ya no van a matar una terciopelo, digamos.
Hay una falta de educación ambiental también ahí, de que no hay una organización que nos ayude a adquirir conocimientos de las culebras, ¿entiende? Cómo evadirlas, cómo no eliminarlas, pero que podamos convivir.
Los que creen en esa convivencia apuestan por una educación desde la base y tienen sus esperanzas puestas en la generación futura. Pero los programas actuales aún no han llegado a Rancho Quemado. Algunos vecinos, como Víctor, dedican todos sus esfuerzos a plantar nuevas semillas.
Hola, mi amor. Si yo sigo cazando, mis hijos no van a conocer los animales. ¿Por qué? Porque cuando ellos crezcan ya no va a haber nada. Fue mucha la destrucción que se hizo, pero estamos intentando y nunca es tarde para empezar. Ellas van a venir siempre, ellas van a bajar siempre, siempre van a estar. El campesino viene para adentro del bosque, metiéndose cada día más a la casa de las culebras, decía mi hermano, donde es el bosque, que es la casa de todos los animales.
Nada hacemos con matar las serpientes, ya que van a seguir existiendo. Vamos a seguir compartiendo ese lugar tan hermoso con las serpientes venenosas. Entonces, si aprendemos a convivir juntos, no exponiéndonos al tratar de matarlas, creo que nos vamos a llevar mejor en un futuro.
Décadas atrás, en la orilla de este mismo río, dos buscadores de oro creyeron dominar la naturaleza. El fuego les demostró que se equivocaban. Un espejismo como tantos otros en la carrera del ser humano por controlarlo todo. Porque de una forma u otra la selva siempre reclama su territorio. Una realidad muy presente para los habitantes de Rancho Quemado.
Costa Rica, one of the few places on Earth where nature is still well preserved. And where nature is thriving, you will find butterflies. Each butterfly is a living artwork. There are even transparent butterflies. But these creatures are more than just beauty on wings. They are pollinators. Without them, the forest would not be as rich. One butterfly really stands out. This is the famous blue morpho butterfly. And she has only one thing on her mind right now: reproduction. But her story begins as a tiny egg hidden among the leaves. Each butterfly species has its own preferences for egg laying. Some caterpillars only eat the leaves of banana plants. Others prefer passion flower vines, which contain toxins that discourage most predators. But they can't keep away every predator, because here are the ants. Ants are always on the lookout for food, and butterfly eggs are one of their favorites. Luckily, not all the eggs are taken or harmed. The blue morpho egg survived. Initially, the egg starts transparent. Soon, dots become visible and the egg starts revealing the larva growing inside. When the embryo has developed sufficiently, it starts to eat its way out of the egg. The caterpillar, tiny and vulnerable, breaks free from its shell. Its siblings are still struggling and trying to hatch. She bravely climbs out of her egg. Right after hatching, the baby caterpillar's first job is to eat its own nutrient-rich eggshell. It then needs to find the edge of the leaf to continue eating. Without the guidance of its mother, this tiny creature must rely on its own instincts to survive. Baby caterpillars are vulnerable, and this true bug knows that all too well. These owl butterfly caterpillars could not escape. Survival in the jungle is only for the strongest, the fastest, or the lucky ones. Caterpillars come in a huge variety of shapes, colors, and sizes. They use the hairs on their body as tiny sensors that detect changes in the environment. The hairs can also put off predators because they are irritating or even toxic. Another defense mechanism is to roll a leaf around themselves, creating a natural shelter from predators. Ingeniously, they position the toughest part of their body, their head, to face outward, forming a protective barrier. But not all defense strategies are so straightforward. Take the one-spotted Propona caterpillar. On its back are what appear to be eyes. These aren't real eyes, but clever mimics known as eye spots, designed to resemble the eyes of larger, more threatening animals. They confuse and deter predators. On close observation, it is possible to see spots on a caterpillar's body. They do not breathe through their mouths, but through these breathing holes known as spiracles. This way, they can eat non-stop, because they sure have an impressive appetite. But it all makes sense because they have a lot of growing to do in a short space of time, to get ready for the next stage in their life cycle. Our blue morpho caterpillar is taking its final steps in this form. It has come so far and survived many threats. It waits for the sun to set. As darkness falls, it can start its transformation. With cooler temperatures and reduced predator activity, night provides the perfect conditions for the metamorphosis. As the skin splits at the back of its head, the caterpillar moves gently, easing itself out of the confinement of its old skin. It drops the final pieces of its caterpillar form. It is now a chrysalis. Chrysalids come in a variety of colors and shapes. Some chrysalids have colorful accents, others are more camouflaged. This specific one has a fascinating structure that looks strikingly like a zipper. This feature allows the butterfly to emerge easily when the time comes. Inside the chrysalis, parts of the caterpillar that are no longer needed are dissolved. Organs and muscles liquefy and become new cells. As we leave the caterpillar in its chrysalis, we wait with anticipation. For when it emerges, it will no longer be the creature it once was. The butterfly emerges slowly. The wings, damp and crumpled, must dry. Fluids are pumped through the veins of her wings to expand them. A completely new sensation for the insect. She now has wings. These colorful circles mimic the eyes of bigger predators to scare away enemies. When the excess fluids leave the body and the wings are dry, the butterfly is ready. Special structures in the scales reflect only blue light, making the blue morpho's wings shimmer with a beautiful blue color. Such beauty does not go unnoticed. Birds are everywhere in the jungle. Smaller birds are constantly looking for small reptiles and insects. But the birds are not her main concern at the moment. Each raindrop is an obstacle for a butterfly. And these insects cannot afford the bruising impact of rain. They must find shelter. The cool and wet conditions slow their movements, making them vulnerable to predators. Birds and other mammals can easily withstand rain. Some prefer to wait it out, like this yellow-throated toucan. Others prefer to dance. After a few hours, the rain gives way to sunshine. The blue morpho emerges from her shelter. She can live another day. She only lives a few weeks, so she needs to hurry and find a partner. Luckily for her, it is a bright and sunny day, and there are plenty of candidates. Success. The reproduction system of butterflies is often species-specific, acting as a lock-and-key mechanism to prevent interspecies mating. Suddenly, the tranquility of the moment is disrupted. Another male attempts to take over. The couple holds their ground, and the intruder leaves the scene. A few days have passed, and she is looking for a leaf to finally fulfill her purpose. Mother is content and rests for a moment. She was just in time. her legacy continues, and this new life is now part of the vibrant ecosystem of the jungle.
Nightfall in Costa Rica's Osa Peninsula. As the rainy season is coming, it's the cue for the most important journey in this frog's life. It's a male glass frog, and he's looking for a mate. But if he is to find one, he must travel quite a distance. He needs to find a river. He has to keep his wits about him, for the rainy season has also brought out some predators. A katydid. With its big mandibles, it could easily take him down. Easy does it? Keeping his focus, he also has time for a quick snack. A female. This is his chance. Having found himself a partner, he's securing his next generation of offspring. His job is done. Now all he needs to do is keep a watchful eye. Done. and the Rio Agujas glints in the early morning sun. Over 250,000 unique species live in this landscape, making it one of the most biodiverse places on Earth. But amidst all the dense jungle, this singular river has been shaping this land for millennia. It is the lifeblood of the forest. The green kingfisher. She's on the lookout for food. Having made this stretch of river her home, flying up and down, she keeps an eye out for anything that moves. Too fast, too big. But just under the surface of the water, there is something that won't see her coming. The perfect target. This is it. Missed. Life in the wild is tough, and she'll have to dive many more times today. Missed again. A few more failed attempts. But that won't stop her. Got it. Eating up to half her body weight in fish every day, this river provides all she needs to survive in this tough environment. Which is essential, especially if she wants to breathe someday. But maybe not right now. High up in the Osa, a small spring forms the birthplace of the Rio Agujas, the start of an incredible journey to the Pacific. As it winds through the jungle, carving into the hills, the stream creates diverse habitats along the banks, providing hunting grounds for small invertebrates and amphibians. Fed by the continuous rainfalls, this stream gains size, and joining with other nearby streams, they form a river. Great ceiba trees soak up the mineral-rich waters, and in turn provide food for the rest of the canopy. Some you would expect to see in the jungle, and some that are easily overlooked. This is a true network, with the river at its heart. In the coastal areas, mangroves line the banks, where crocodiles roam, and terrapins bathe. The delta, where the river reaches the end of a long journey that started miles away. But even in the Pacific, it still continues to provide. As the mineral-rich freshwater mixes with the sea, these estuaries are home to a unique environment that supports an incredible array of species. The influx of nutrients has sparked the growth of phytoplankton, which has triggered an explosion of life. Dolphins gather on the coasts of the Osa, in their hundreds. As a group, they move in unison, looking for food and having the time of their lives. This female humpback whale has traveled over 3,000 miles to reach this bay. And she is a mother. The Golfo Dulce has become a safe haven and a nursing home for these cetaceans. On the seafloor, colorful coral showed the beauty of Costa Rica's ecosystem. But in recent years, as our planet is warming, these corals are fast disappearing. Where the jungle meets the sea, a delicate balance is at stake. Costa Rica has one of the highest intensities of pesticide use in the world. And as many palm oil plantations are located near rivers, their runoffs pollute the environment and the local communities. Costa Rica's urban areas are also a major contributor of pollution, with 440 tons of plastic being swept out to sea every year. Toxic red tides caused by algae blooms are detrimental to marine life. The idyllic rivers and marine ecosystems are under threat. But these challenges have not gone unanswered.
Coral reefs really are at the front lines of climate change, and they're one of the first major ecosystems to collapse. We are reestablishing Costa Rica's Pacific reefs by growing corals in specialized nurseries and then outplanting them back into the wild. Our efforts are vital for the reef's survival and the rest of the ecosystem. But we can't do this by ourselves.
We each have our own vision for a bright and abundant future. I mean, I love sea turtles, obviously, but I realize that there's a lot more to protecting the natural world.
If we want to conserve our biodiversity, we need to protect the riversides. Our nature reserve is doing just that, and we are looking to acquire more land in the future.
La educación ambiental es la clave para la conservación. Queremos brindarle a las personas de todos los orígenes la oportunidad de aprender sobre el medio ambiente y protegerlo.
Las plantaciones de palma africana y la ganadería son las principales causas de deforestación en la península de Osa y sin embargo son las principales fuentes de empleo de las familias que habitan este lugar. Trabajamos en conjunto con las familias campesinas para fortalecer los procesos agroecológicos dentro de las fincas, dinamizar la economía local y así fortalecer la soberanía alimentaria de las comunidades.
Nous sommes maintenant en mesure d'utiliser la technologie pour effectuer des recherches plus approfondies sur la faune sauvage, y compris ici, dans notre travail sur les jaguars, une espèce en voie de disparition.
I've developed new technologies using AI to identify different species on the peninsula, as well as collaborating with local conservationists to closely monitor these amazing animals. After working in the Osa for close to a decade, I realise now that the research we conduct has a huge impact on the future of this area.
Individually, these organizations have great initiatives, but the work that they're doing is so interconnected. We will maximize our impact if we all work together to help accomplish our mutual goals.
Like the kingfisher and glass frogs, humans depend on healthy rivers and ecosystems. People are not the enemies of nature. We are the stewards of our planet. And it's our responsibility to find the balance between human needs and natural conservation. Join the collective and come get involved. Learn more at joingsc.org. www.fungi.org.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Mi nombre es Mateo Barrenengoa y soy director del corto documental Sin Fungi, que ganó esta categoría en el tremendo festival ViaNatur, y por eso estamos muy contentos con todo el equipo, tanto de la Fundación Fungi como de SPAN, porque esta película muestra una expedición que hicimos al extremo sur de Tierra del Fuego en busca de nuevas especies de hongos para entender todo ese ecosistema. Fuimos con tremendos científicos como Juliana Furchi, Toby Kears y Merlin Sheldrake. Así que los dejamos muy invitados a ver esta linda pieza audiovisual en este festival. Muchas gracias.
It's a meaty cup.
Oh.
It's
so meaty.
It's a meaty cup. Hold on, I'm going to show
So
you.
symmetrical.
It's unknown.
So unknown.
So unknown. Unknown. I wish I knew. I sort of can't even. I mean, it looks like. I know what it should be, but it doesn't look like what it should be. Look. Look at the meaty cup.
Oh, it's like a goblet.
It's a goblet.
Oh,
and
it's a goblet.
Do you see the green?
Beautiful.
Do you see the green?
Yeah.
The green rim?
Yeah.
Look at that, it's got a green rim.
It's shaped like a goblet, though. It's beautiful.
It's easier without sun.
Oh, it is easier.
That's amazing.
Has to do with the incredible species of fungi there are in Tierra del Fuego, and the glorious nature of the forests. Just the full colors, the healthy, pristine old-growth forests that we can find here give us a snapshot of what the whole island would have looked like many years back before industrial deforestation.
It's totally outrageous to be working with this team in this location. It is so extreme. The biodiversity is unlike anything I've ever seen before. The team is so aligned in advocating for the protection of these organisms.
On this trip, we're combining different approaches. We're taking soil cores for SPAN, which we'll analyze for mycorrhizal fungal DNA. And we're also taking mushroom collections. So we're looking at both the above ground parts of fungal life and the below ground parts of fungal life. And this will give us a more complete picture of the fungal diversity in this area. And this will allow us to better understand this ecosystem, to understand how all of the organisms here work together in and around each other.
On every pixel of Earth, we are sampling soil and extracting the fungal DNA, which we will sequence to know which mycorrhizal species are right here.
I get the question a lot, why fungi? People are always asking, why concentrate on fungi?
I see them as as connective organisms that create the conditions for so much of the world around us. So all of the plant life that we see, all these plants depend on fungi. They depended on fungi to move onto the land. There wouldn't be soil without fungi that creates the soil. If there were no fungi, then wood wouldn't rot. The nutrient cycles within which we live and which power the biosphere and which support the lives of animals like guanacos, that support the lives of birds that we've been seeing here. They are driving so many of these fundamental biogeochemical processes that are vast and ancient and hard for us to notice because they're so big, they make us dizzy. But when we're here and we see them all together in these astonishing places, we see the mountains coming into the sea, we see the places where glaciers were, it's easier to become aware of them, and that's been really powerful.
It's such a huge task to make invisible organisms of global importance, and how to show that something that's invisible, and communities, whole entire communities that are driving these ecosystems that are under each footstep of ours, really are worth protection, are worth acknowledgement, appreciation. It's a large task we have of showing the invisible and putting it into the context of what you were saying of the sustenance of the biosphere.
I think many people haven't glimpsed into the underground world, and there are some scientific tools now that allow us to see for the first time how these fungi stitch together the soil, stitch together ecosystems, and move nutrients. And that's really powerful, making the invisible visible. People become excited, they become aware of just how much life there is underground.
Oh, well, when the camera's off, I can tell you about that.
Whoa! What is that?
What is that?
Wow, that is like hormonal. That's rich.
It's rich.
That is rich.
Merle, what is that?
It smells like the ass of the world.
So we've reached the end of the road that goes to Yendigaya National Park. It's the southernmost I've ever been in the world. I'm really excited, and we're in this incredible Nothofagus forest that's just in the perfect day of the year to find fungi. They're everywhere. You can't walk without stepping on them. I'm so excited about what we're going to collect, and I'm so excited to understand who's living here, both above ground and underground. Some people say this is the end of the world, but what we see is actually it's just the beginning of the world.
$13, $14, $15. Okay. In the past, scientists were classifying the world in piles. Science was all about making these individual piles, and now what we're seeing is that it's all about how these piles are interconnected, how it's about relationships, and how it's about the way that organisms interact on a daily basis. And so that's why we can go out into a forest and see guanacos, and we can see the bird life and all the animals and all the plants, and start to tease apart those very complex relationships that which fungi in many cases lay at the base of.
And it's so hard for us to think like that because we like to think about individuals and neatly bounded cells, but really it's all about the co-creative force between these organisms, and we see that here, I think. What's the word?
A lot of people ask, why do we come to this, faraway land that's really cold, that has the 4 seasons in each day? And the answer is basically that the fungal diversity here is so unique because of the unique nature of the symbiosis between southern beech trees and organisms from the fungi. What we see here, we don't see anywhere else in the world.
A lot of the work that we do as scientists is ultimately sitting in front of a computer. And even when we're working in the lab, we live our lives in control of these organisms. They set the conditions, we give them nutrients, we have a very strong power dynamic. But when we come into the field like this, it's the other way around. The world is the tube and we're inside it. And I feel humbled every time this happens, and it really feeds my work to do this, to be outside with people that you are collaborating with, that you trust, that you play with, that you can laugh with. And be bodies in a wild, wet world.
So I can see them. The guanacos are in the forest, and you can just hear them. They're running through the forest. They're the only camelids that live in forests. So you can just hear the sound of the guanacos, and it sounds a bit like a donkey.
High-pitched donkey.
It sounds like a high-pitched donkey.
The forests in Tierra del Fuego have a special magic. When you walk into a forest in the heart of autumn here, you can hear the trees rubbing against each other with the wind blow. You can see the lichen dancing off of the branches in the trees. But the biggest of luck is when you have those days in the forest where you look at the forest floor and there's a carpet of ectomycorrhizal mushrooms. Really, when you endure the cold, the wind, the snow, and you get to that beautiful sunny day with those mushrooms, you understand the magic of Tierra del Fuego.
We all bring different perspectives, we all bring different kinds of experience, and when we come together we can think in new ways together, we can strategize in new ways together, we can imagine in new ways together, and so it's so important to be here with them and to be spending this time in this incredible place doing this work.
I've seen things I've never seen before. I've heard things, I've smelled things. The world feels different when we are all together because we see things slightly differently and we're learning from each other. So working with the Fungi Foundation is such an incredible symbiosis with SPUN. It makes for a great team.
When we come to these forests, we see that the planet is very much alive, even in places that are suffering the hardship of climate change and others. It's important, I think, for us to send a message and to communicate that there's time for us to form a relationship with nature. Not all is lost. And there's time for us to still discover species, to understand that in those species and in how they live, we might find solutions that can help us move forward in this changing world.